and thank you for coming this morning. This is our annual holiday travel press conference. Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays are the busiest time of the year at airports nationwide. And Thanksgiving is particularly busy because most of the travel is condensed into 2 or 3 days, whereas over Christmas, the travel is spread out amongst more days. So travelers should expect busy airports and full flights. According to the preliminary loads from the airlines, the busiest days are expected to be Wednesday and Sunday, November 27th and December 1st. There are still seats available, but flights are starting to fill up. There's about a little over 2,700 daily seats that depart between November 25th and December 1st, with the exception of Thanksgiving Day, where the airlines have reduced schedules. And we're currently at about 70% full and expect that to increase. So we have some tips for travelers to make their travel less hassle and much easier for them. And we encourage you to plan ahead. We have several tips on our website to help you prepare and pack and breeze through security. And refer to your airline's websites for baggage requirements and fees and other pertinent information. Check in online prior to your flight, 24 hours before your departure time. And then if you have a boarding pass and are not checking a bag, you can go directly to the ticket counter and bypass security. Now this is very important. We ask that you arrive a minimum of 2 hours before your flight boarding time to allow enough time for parking, to check in, and to get through security. The ticket counters generally close about 30 minutes before departure time, and the flights start to board 30 minutes before departure. We recommend that you use the park and ride lot, where the free shuttle will deliver you right in front of the terminal building and back to your car. If you are picking up arriving passengers, we recommend you use the cell phone lot while waiting. It's free, and parking in front of the terminal is not permitted. The cell phone lot is located just directly south of the park and ride lot in front of the air cargo building. And if you have not done so already, we have a rewards program called Thanks Again. It rewards passengers or customers when they use the airport. You receive a mile or a point for every dollar you spent on parking, shopping, or dining. But also, Thanks Again has an app that you can download, so when you're traveling through other airports, you can see what merchants also are participating in that program, so you can earn your rewards at other airports as well. And joining me today is Brad Christopher, the Assistant Director of Airports, and also Keith Osborne, Federal Security Director with the TSA. And I'm going to turn it over to Brad now.
Thank you. Good morning. Several enhancements to the airport's parking lots have been implemented. Since September, 380 parking spaces have been added to the park and ride lot. In November, 70 spaces were added to the long-term lot. Within the past month, a second shuttle bus was added to the park and ride shuttle route to reduce passenger wait times. During the holidays, a third shuttle will be provided to the park and ride lot at peak times. The west entrance to the long-term lot was recently opened, so both east and west entrances are now available for short-term parkers. Travelers are also reminded the following parking limitations do remain in effect at Mid-Continent Airport. Short-term parking remains strictly limited to 4 hours. Vehicles remaining in the short-term parking lot for more than 4 hours will be charged the maximum rate of $50. Vehicles remaining in the lot overnight could be towed at the owner's expense. Parking charges only apply to customers, including those patrons with ADA accessible hang tags and permits. ADA accessible parking is available in the park and ride lots throughout construction. There is one additional thing that I would like to share that make the public aware of. Considering recent security events at the Los Angeles World Airports, air travelers may observe an increased law enforcement presence at airports across the country, including Mid-Continent Airport. This increased presence may include police officers patrolling terminal areas with tactical weapons that travelers are not typically accustomed to observing at domestic airports. I'll turn it over to Mr. Osborne.
Thank you, Brad. I'd like to highlight a couple of the items that may enable a passenger to get through security a little bit quicker. First, I'd like to remind the public that the TSA pre-check program is in effect here in Wichita. So when you get your boarding pass, whether you print it at home or you get it here at the airport, check to see if there's a TSA pre-check logo on the boarding pass. If that's the case, you're welcome to use the pre-check lane here at Mid-Continent Airport, which is on the left side as you approach the checkpoint. That should give you expedited screening as you go through the security process. It also means that you can leave your shoes on. If you're carrying a laptop, the laptop can remain in the bag, and your 311 compliant liquids can also remain in the bag inside of the quart-sized bag. I would caution individuals to make sure that you wear shoes that do not have metal in them, because if the walk-through metal detector alarms, you may have to be asked to remove your shoes to remove that alarm. In addition, those individuals that are 75 and older, children under 12, also are not required to remove their shoes as long as the walk-through metal detector does not alarm. They're eligible for the expedited screening. Active duty military in uniform are eligible for the expedited screening also. This lane is open at more airports around the country, so even when you return home, you may have an opportunity to utilize the pre-check program. Typically, most passengers are in the pre-check program either through the frequent flyer with their airline, the frequent flyer program with their airline, with the CBP program called Global Entry. It also makes you eligible for pre-check, but you need to enroll in that particular process. Soon, later this year, there will be a TSA pre-check process passengers can enroll in. There is a small charge for that, $100, but it's good. The TSA program is good for 5 years, and it's $85 for those 5 years. I would also like to remind passengers during the holiday period, if you're going to travel with presents for folks on your destination, we recommend that it not be wrapped in case it has to undergo further inspections. If it is wrapped and does require further inspection, we may have to unwrap it in order to accomplish that. So we recommend that you not wrap the present as you go through before you go through security. Would also like to remind folks that even though you're in the TSA pre-check lane, the prohibited items list is still in effect. So you still cannot bring knives, still cannot bring weapons. Those types of things will still be ask you to voluntarily abandon them or leave them with somebody here in Wichita. So the type of things that are allowed in the cabin does not change even though you're in the pre-check lane. Again, recommend that as passengers approach the security checkpoint, they're prepared to enter security. It means your boarding pass is out, your government ID that matches your boarding pass is available, so that it will help you speed through the process, and prepare yourself so you've removed as much metal as possible so you don't alarm the walk-through metal detector. And if you're not in the pre-check lane, remove your 311 compliant liquids and your laptop or large electronics. We'll be happy to make this as pleasant an experience, but as Valerie mentioned, the loads are going to be heavy, so at those peak times, particularly in the morning, I would recommend that you do plan ahead and plan for things to take a little bit longer than they normally do. So it's always a good idea to wait past security for your flight than being on this side and hearing your flight being called. Thank you, and we'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Do you have any questions for myself or Brad or for Keith?
You mentioned the number of seats available during the holiday period. Are you expecting to be then just as busy as previous holiday travel seasons, busier? Any indication how many passengers you'll have going through your
I think generally the reports out show that there's going to be an increase in holiday travel, at least for Thanksgiving.
Can you talk about the holiday period? Is it like from Thanksgiving to New Year's, or like what is the...
Generally, yeah, Thanksgiving is basically starting Sunday and through the next week, whereas Christmas, like the week before Christmas or when kids get out of school through New Year's Eve, through New Year's Day, that's the holiday travel period for that time.